Here we are. The context
Here
for
we
me
are.
was on how to dance when people are experiencing themselves as feeling violated by this type of work or these containers or other people when there is something in their space around. I make up they like don't have some felt sense of agency and they feel liable to, or I experience them as liable to blame the container or other people. And also, there's 100% responsibility that I need to set the container to be super clear for everyone that I welcome in. Otherwise, people can and sometimes will have a bad time. And I could see how it would be my responsibility to set a better container.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, you could invite people over for cupcakes and ice cream, and they could get upset about that. But it's nice this is not dairy free. That's a good thing to tell people.
Yeah.
It's a good thing to
So
tell people that Greg can be an obnoxious asshole.
I'll share with them a lot of context and that you can be incredibly insulting, but that's part of the juice of that is if my
Yep.
character suit finds something insulting, that's something for me to look at. And sometimes I'll send them a whole thing and then they're like, oh yeah, I didn't read that because it was too much. I'm like, so how do I deal with
You
all
make headlines. You don't send a whole document. You say, before you get on the call, I want you to read these 6 lines and I want you to tell me that you've read them. Because chances are, after being on a call with him, you're going to say, he's an asshole. And I'm going to say, that's line number 2. Okay.
okay, yeah.
Now, the, the other thing, now this is for your intellect. Okay. If somebody says, I feel like, what they're about to say is not something, it's a causal attribute. It's not feelings, it's not emotions. I feel like you're an asshole. That's not a feeling. I feel like I've been run over by a truck. They have feelings and they're attributing being run over by a truck to those yet unnamed feelings.
Mm.
So if people feel violated, they're having some experience and they're doing a causal attribution that those feelings mean this. Now, their feelings are their feelings, and there's no that's unarguable. They're feeling whatever they're feeling, and they could feel like they've been violated, and then it's like, what do you want me to do with about that? People can get, there are certain people who feel violated by a woman not in a burqa.
Mhm.
What do you want to do about that? This is a space where humans can talk about anything, supposedly. All right. And yes, you may feel upset about what's being said, but these are just words that it's like going to watch a comedy show. He can say all kinds of
Okay, a
things, and
comedy
in the
show.
end, it's all words. If you feel offended by it, yes, I have felt offended by things that Cray have said all the time. That's not an unusual state.
I like the comedy show frame. It's a comedy show where he will roast you in service of your growth.
What he thinks is service to your growth. You may not agree with him.
Yeah.
There you go. He's not
Okay,
out
great.
there doing the things, being the puppet that you want him to be. He is a complete stand for people being who they want to be.
Phew. He's not going to be the puppet that you want him to
You
be.
want him to be. He's not going to act in the way that you want him to act, that you think is appropriate. He may, but if he doesn't want to do it, he's not going to say, "Ooh, they may not like this. I should stop myself from doing this."
Mhm. Yeah. Okay. That's really straightforward. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Well, comedy show where you, all right. Hmm. where adults can talk about anything, and he's likely to insult you for your benefit.
No, I would just say that he may insult you. He's not likely to.
Mhm.
A lot of times, I mean, believe me, he's obnoxious. He's arrogant. He comes across like he knows all kinds of shit. Okay? If you look at him like you're wanting him to confirm your reality, it may not go so well. He has his own reality.
He has his own reality.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's coming from a very crazy place.
Mhm.
And if you don't mind a little bit of grit, it can be quite enlightening. Not like he's actually going to have you become enlightened, but he will point out things that you're probably your best friends will never point out to you. And it's just his opinion.
That's a beautiful frame. You'll
Yeah.
point out things your best friends will probably never point out to you. And yeah, I mentioned around pointing out the personality spinach in your teeth.
Yeah. I mean, your best friends are
Supposed to be
concerned
attract.
about being your best friends and staying your best friends. No, he doesn't give a shit.
Spoilers. Hello? I would love that.
Hmm.
Right. Huh. So we have Courtney here for some time, and I want to see how we can, as a home, really lean into her specialties. And I know
Whose definition of specialties are we using here?
you yours, because I'm asking
No,
your
you don't
opinion.
want to lean into what I think her specialties are. Your house would blow up.
Okay. Should I know those to stay away from them? What?
I You might want to ask her so that you have two sides of this. You have her coming in and she's selling something. Okay.
Mhm.
And then we have you trying to entice something. Now, you can either be trying to entice something that she wants you to entice out, or you can be trying to entice something that her character doesn't want you bringing out. And that's up to you. Until she gets her feet on the ground, I would say, "What? Excuse me, young lady. What is it that you are coming here to share with us? How do you think that our time could be profitably spent with you?" Something like that. And let her outline it. And you can agree or disagree with it. And you can say, well, that's not going to work. Or you can say, oh, that's a goodie. And you have a nice, gentle on ramp. And theoretically, she's going to do the gentle introduction. And then she's going to turn into Kali and kill you all. And you'll really enjoy it.
Okay.
I think in my understanding of Courtney, this is about her learning to adapt to a new kind of surroundings. And so that's on her. She needs to look out there and make an assessment of the crowd. And out of all the stuff that she can do, she wants to know what is it that she's going to feel comfortable giving to this audience or engaging with this audience about. Yeah.
What would have you look back and be like, wow, Courtney, you really did it?
If she could stop that look on her face, I don't have very high standards. It's little tiny. I'm not asking you to do calculus. I'm not asking you to cook a souffle. I'm just saying, hey, if you could not inject Novocaine to make the smile not show up, if you could actually occupy another vibration, so naturally that's not the smile that shows up. She can freeze her face. She's done that before. And she's trying really hard right now. I'm tickling the bejesus out of her. And this is one of her heroines. She loves feeling good.
How can we as a community like support her in that too? And or, like
Support
how do we
her
want
terrible.
to in like practicing? It sounds like you're saying more of a stable state that's less injecting heroin through feeling good.
You can There's nothing you can do about it. I don't think.
It's nothing I
Because you guys are a poppy field. She's got all kinds of ways of being that you guys are going to love. And she has to learn, how do you do those things and not get high? How does she not get high? You guys could be experiencing all kinds of great shit. And her ability to be a great facilitator, great, not good, but great facilitator, is being able to do that and not having that part of her kick in. Mm-hmm. And so it's just an ongoing practice. I really encourage her not to try to slip 30 people at a time into la la land, because that's just going to overwhelm her. But there you go.
You don't want to make any guesses about what we want to entice out of each other?
Oh, I have lots of guesses, all politically incorrect.
And it would be unlike you to share politically incorrect guesses.
Do you know what fixings are, Alton? It's what junkies refer to as the stuff they use to cook their stuff and put the armband on and inject it. It's called their fixings. I don't want to put the fixings on the table.
Well, right, but the things that we do want to entice out, like in the healthy frame, not the things that we don't.
It's all healthy. Everything that she has, you guys. There are some things that she could bring to the table that a lot of you guys are going to have your eyes roll back in your head, because it's going to be straight up ketamine for you. Okay, it's just going to be, or heroin, whatever.
Right, so I'm asking, what would you think that would be juicy for both of us and healthy for us?
That is healthy. You guys have to learn to temper this stuff. You guys have to be willing to. Oh man, here we go again. Okay, so the whole point is to get into those places where your primal character is really very strongly value plus or value negative, and be able to make a non-historical action out of it. She has to see all of you guys really enjoying yourself, having a mind-blowing time, and she has to stop dancing around the room saying, I'm so special, I'm so special, look at what I did, look at what I did. That's her thing. You guys have to be willing to go to those places and not disappear into your heroin dreams or your opium dreams. This is the absolutely hardest thing to do, especially with the pleasurable ones.
Okay, what does grit look like here for us?
Grit looks like slowing down. Grit looks like talking about what's happening. Because when you're on that roller coaster, the last thing you want to do is engage your mind. The ability to discern what your meaning making is about this, about what your kids' meaning making is about this, what your adult is and being able to talk from either side, that's a huge thing. So she's practicing right now. From over here, not very well. All right. But she's practicing. She's actually practicing.
Yeah, I have a felt sense of that.
Shut up. Shut up, shut up, shut up. You're going to blow it for us. Stop it. But I want meat. I want lots of meat.
I maybe don't wish I understood these references, but I.
No, you don't. I don't think, see, underneath her entertainer is a beast. Okay, is a real live beast, not a cutesy wootsy little thing, but a real live beast that could really fucking hurt you. All right. You have to, so the good thing is, probably not this time, but you need to find your beast, Alton. If you can't find your beast, you're vaporware.
Mm-hmm. What are some contexts that my beast would be more likely to come out other than in intense dojo containers?
I don't, you haven't set up your life such that the beast can get out, I think. I imagine that when you're down, if you were to go down into the underbelly of, like you used to, those tours you used to do, I think that if you were to switch off the lights and walk away and not say anything and listen to them start to panic, that would be an example of your beast.
I don't think I got that. Turn the lights off on.
So when you used to go down into the sewers or the water, whatever they were,
Yeah.
you were in places that had no natural lighting. Right?
Yeah. In the middle of the day.
I could see, yeah, I could see you in beast mode, turning off the lights and then walking away and not responding to them when they said, Alton, Alton, where are you? I can't see anything. I'm getting a bit nervous. Alton, I'm starting to freak out.
There's a guided portion that's exactly that where you don't speak for some period of time and you're led just by the sounds of your footsteps echoing. And it's pitch black.
But the point of your beast being is that you would not provide them a way out.
I mean, they just turn. Okay, well.
You'd come back eventually because you don't really want to kill them.
Okay, is there a world? How can I practice this in a dance with Courtney or while we're here in this home together?
What, Alton? Where? Okay, so let's pretend that there are 7 chakras, and that each chakra has a beast quality to it. Where do you think your access to beast would be? Which of the 7 chakras? Your spirituality? Your intellect? Your ability to communicate? Your heart? We're running out of chakras here, Alton.
Hmm. Okay, as Norma's pointing out, I think that it does seem like it's more sadistic or just more liable
I don't know what you mean by sadistic.
to take joy in other people's pain.
No, it's your pain. To take joy in your pain, Alton.
Isn't that masochism?
It's you could, but it's not like you're a victim. It's like you're using Courtney to call it forth. You're in an agreement with Courtney that you and I can't do this on my own. It's never worked. It never will work. Okay. I have to be dancing with someone.
Hmm.
Now, somebody could torture me and probably bring out my beast, but I don't really like scarification. All right. Somebody could waterboard me. That could bring out my beast. And so you have to find out what is a gentle on ramp,
Yeah.
so that you can get the beast.
Hmm.
It's the old dojo exercise of being tied to the bed. But it takes a great practitioner to make that effective.
Hmm.
Because you have to transition through a bunch of stages to whereby you're threatening her and her family and everybody that you are actually going to kill and dismember every one of them if she doesn't get you out of these things right frickin' now.
Hmm.
And she holds the line. And she lets your beast express. And you find yourself saying things that you hope to hell she's not recording. Because to you and your monoculture, these are ugly, un-PC, horrible. And then if she holds it, then you'll collapse and you'll experience a degree of I don't know how to describe it. It's just spaciousness. That you realize that no matter what you say, she's not going to let you go until she decides to let you go. Nothing you can do, nothing you can say, nothing you can threaten. And there's
Sound very
hmm?
colorful. I'm trying to imagine what those might look like specifically. I'm also trying to imagine like what that would look like concretely.
For
Um,
most adolescent masculines, you have to be naked and she has to tease you sexually in all kinds of different ways and not let you go to where you want to go with it.
Hmm.
Was it you who hates to be tickled, Alton? Yeah. I mean, that's easy. Tie you to the bed and tickle you with feathers. You'll get to beast really fucking fast.
Yeah, we did it a couple of times. I think it pattern matched to me largely as scarification too. I don't really know how it.
I don't know that it was done well.
Hmm. Okay.
I mean, the point is it's the gradual increase, because normally, Alton, you'll say if you're starting here, you're going to say I always stop here. If it's done right, slowly enough, you'll get to here
Yeah.
before you say, okay, this is too much. This is too much.
Mhm.
And she's going to be like, I'm going to slow down. You've become incredibly sensitive right now. All I have to do is hold up the feather and you start convulsing. All right. But until you're threatening to kill my family, and I believe you, we're not going to stop.
Okay.
And you're going to get to the point to where you are saying the ugliest, the most horrible, the most you could be promising, if you just let me out now, I'll give you all of my money. And that's the most horrible thing that you might imagine. I don't know what it is.
Hmm.
But you're going to be face to face with another human being who's going to see you being the ugliest you that you can be from your point of view. She may think it's this bullshit, but you're going to get to experience that you can actually be the ugliest you possible, and your head doesn't explode. There's nothing that you cannot say. You may not want to say it.
Okay.
And the really wonderful thing, Alton, for the rest of her life, she will have that experience in her mind about you. So when you start acting like a dick, she'll smile.
Oh,
And you'll be looking at her. You can be sitting down at some huge conference where millions of dollars and millions of lives are on the line, and she's there with you, and she's looking at you, and you'll see her smile, and you'll go, "Oh, frick, she's thinking about that. No, I gotta concentrate. I gotta concentrate."
hmm.
And she's saying, "If you don't concentrate so hard, Alton, it'll go better."
Beautiful.
It's a story.
Hmm. That's great.
Hello, asshole in training.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm just fine. How are you? How's the weather? Are your sports teams doing what they want to be doing? What you want them to be doing? How's your stock portfolio? Your underwear too tight these days? No? Good.
Is there a
I watched Circle of Iron. I liked it. It was
I'm sorry. What did you like about it?
I liked the every person's journey is the journey against themselves. And
So
the
can I mess with you?
please.
How many times?
In the film? Or you're messing with me now?
It's a reference to a moment in the film.
Yeah. That's what I'm asking. In the
And
film. Yeah.
what's your answer? How many times are you going to do this?
This.
This character, this path, this Q&A, this way of being. How many times? Your choice.
The answer seems to be in the stillness, as you were saying last time, and not
It's
the thing.
but you have to operationalize it.
Mm-hmm.
All answers are in the stillness. I mean, come on. How many
Yeah.
times do you want to play Brian 1.0?
Ideally, I move past it.
Theoretically.
Yeah.
Theoretically, not very many people ever do. A lot of people talk about it. There's nothing holding you. There's nothing keeping you stuck in this place other than you're saying, I'm stuck in this place.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I'm free now, right?
Theoretically, evidence to the contrary. Norman, why is that a picture? That isn't a picture of you. Who is that a picture of? Yeah. You
It's
just keep looking for that book. What?
my co-founder.
Your co-founder?
I don't know why when I log in from my phone, it uses our joint account.
Huh? He's not as pretty as you are.
She's gonna be upset about that.
I don't care.
I'm driving, so to not worry, you get my videos off.
Thank you. The book isn't up there. I'm looking for the answer.
What's the difference between moving my body and being still inside?
Because you're not engaging with other people when you're doing that. You're breaking the normal socialness. You're saying something is more important than being here now.
Okay. Okay. So from the
You can
stillness, interact.
you don't have to look up to find anything.
Mm.
I swear to God, there are no real answers on the ceiling. You
Mm.
don't engage with your brain differently by doing that.
Mm.
Okay? It's a habit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look, I'm doing something that I think is very important.
Mm.
It's a really good thing if you have minions because they know not to interrupt when you're doing that. So you can always get a break for yourself by looking up.
I just want to make sure are we guys in the middle of the thing? I want to get feedback about an exercise we're going to do.
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the idea is to gather anyone who's in the home. Thinking it could be fun to do tonight. There seems to be quite a bit of people here, although Neil will be here tomorrow, and he is a father, so it would be interesting to have his input. For the exercise, there would be we'd use one of the whiteboards, and on one side of the
Will you
whiteboard,
use a marker too?
certainly, and on one side of the whiteboard will be the label child, and on the other side, caregiver. And in group consensus, what are descriptors of child? What are descriptors of caregiver? And then it will lead us into a stage time where each of us will present for probably a total of 5 minutes, titrating between, I forgot to mention, we're curious about what the difference is between being a digital father or mother and a physical father or mother. Do you know why he's laughing?
I'm just like,
He likes to laugh at lots of things.
yeah.
First past consensus.
We're curious if we can become digital avocados or digital pizzas. You know, what would that be like? I'm like, well, I don't. You're creating this hypothesis, you know, and I'm like, I don't understand where this is going.
Then the stage time is a practice of embodying digital father, mother versus physical father, mother. What's the somatic feeling difference?
Why? You could pretend to be different kinds of fruit.
Well, last week, Alton started a discussion on this thread about fatherhood and his desire to become a father. And I don't see him surrounding himself with many fathers. And so I thought it could be interesting to explore. I mean, motherhood is something that I'm interested in too. And so
Oh, fuck off. Jesus Christ.
it's self-interest,
What
other
what are
interests,
you
and it's everyone
talking
else.
about? You don't even oh, Jesus Christ. So
You finish your
let's
sentence, you don't even
go
have what?
let's go down to the deep south in 1940 and we're going to pull a father out of there from a trailer park. All right? This is what you're talking about? You want to become one of these?
We get to define what it is.
But caregiver and father are two different things. You can be a caregiver without being a parent.
Parent, that's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, that's a really odd one. I do. So, guys, father is a job description. It's not an identity. It's a job description. When you've come up with a good description, you don't want to hire somebody. I want to hire you to be a giggly squiggly boo. And it's like, okay, don't you want to know what that is? No. I'm going to be the best giggly squiggly bobbly boo that there's ever been. But you don't know what it is. Oh, I'll learn on the job. When he's saying, I want to be a father, that's the signifier. What's the signified? If the signifieds are not dependent on him fathering children. If you guys were all Mennonites, okay, and one of you said, I want to practice being a father, we would all nod our heads because we all have the same definition, 90%, 95% of it. Okay? But you don't know. You have no idea what he's talking about. I want to dominate and sexually abuse my children. That could be his definition. I want to have willing pedophilic sex slaves. There are people who father children so that they can be pedophiles. I don't think that's what he wants.
Okay, hang on. So our intention was to get feedback on an exercise around our relationship to, like in this case, parenthood. And you're saying that it's a non-starter because you won't know until you're actually doing it?
No, because
It's just like philosophizing until...
Yes, you're philosophizing. You know nothing about changing diapers. You know nothing about kids with colic. You have no idea what a child who says why 800 times in a row. All right? You do have an idea about what you want to be practicing. I want to be loving and kind and leading somebody into growth. That's great. Has nothing to do with kids necessarily. There's a lot of signifiers that you have that you believe are linked into whelping. They may not be. Having kids. Whelping means giving birth, live birth, I think. Somebody will correct me. I look forward to your letters.
Okay, what would you suggest as an alternative given what you know about us?
Since you shut this one down.
I don't know what it is that you guys want to do. It's like you're saying, what kind of car should we build? And I'm like, are you interested in driving in the desert? Are you interested in speed? Are you interested in submersibles?
I'd like to practice more opportunities to execute grit in my life and to do that in the context of community and to build towards like a cooperator cluster of people who are competent and are consistently creating things that are meaningful to me. And
if I was looking to experience grit with my household, I would say, where are the biggest fights? Where's the biggest bumping of heads? That's where the grit is.
Okay. And then
let's talk about how we want to be parents. Anybody pregnant here? Anybody planning to be pregnant anytime soon? No. Why are we doing this? How is this helping the house?
So
you have Brian practicing being an asshole. It's like, why? Because I'm never an asshole. Well, you're never a pedophile either. Are you going to practice that too?
Alton, the other suggestion, not suggestion, exercise idea was around having discussion of the missing stairs in the physical, relational, and meta.
Mhm.
That might be a bit more practical than what we just discussed.
Oh God, this is in my prejudice, Courtney. You're really good about getting people in certain kinds of states. You're not terribly good at designing businesses.
Sure.
Right? So focus on what you're good at.
What would that look like?
Look around you. Yeah, that. Designing a corporate hierarchy is not going to have you fighting that little thing. Having these people be more embodied in their near beast will. You're looking at the people here, and I believe you're saying you guys are missing a significant segment of what it is to be a functioning human being.
As evidenced by
How well you all think.
in the context of
Everything.
specifically
What you're Courtney could walk across the room, and how she can embody would have everybody's attention on her. Not one of you can do that. You could do Monty Python's funny walks, but not like she can. If Norman isn't in his campy, he can do it too. He doesn't have to use his brain to impact you. If I took away your brains and said, go impact these people, it would be many, many years before you accidentally stumbled upon how to do something.
okay, that's a very helpful, specific,
Yeah,
concrete
it is.
example. How can we start there? All right, well, thanks. That was helpful.
See, now, what did she do? What did she just do after you made that comment?
Acknowledge resonance by laughing and reaching out.
And not only did she reach out, I can reach out towards Guatemala. I am reaching out towards Guatemala. She not only reached out, what happened?
She made contact.
Question mark. Do you not know that she made contact, Alton?
I mean,
Why do you think she did that?
Sure.
In her
Appreciate
monoculture,
I want to tickle you with my nails right now so bad.
in her monoculture, you were at a place that she's like, in my understanding of hers, she's like, Alton's going up and away, okay? Or down and out or something. And she believes that if she puts her hand on you, that you won't do that, that you'll stay. Never in a million years would you think to do that, Alton. Because you're not grounded in your body. With her, if she starts going up and away, guess what's going to work really well with her? Putting your hand on her shoulder.
Yeah.
This is something you need to learn. This is something Brian needs to learn. Jochen needs to learn how to do it non-sexually.
Okay.
Now, the problem with this, it's not a very high level pony ride. And so that's just something you're going to have to dance with. And it's a slow education. It's like, so the example is Coach Courtney is like, here, you have Brian and you have Alton. Now we're going to have to do something to have Alton start to go. Beep, 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 beep. And we're going to say, Brian, just practice putting your hand on his shoulder and do something energetically to have him come back, not to have him stop, but to have him come back. There are 1,000 different ways. If Courtney is sitting there doing dishes and I come up and I just graze her shoulder, that's going to feel really good to her. And there's going to be maybe not so subtle, but there's going to be a change in how she's doing the dishes. This is not, let's go in the back and have sex. This is another kind of communication that you guys I don't think you know a lot about. Now, the difficulty is Courtney knows a lot about this, but I don't know if she can put words on it yet in a way that makes sense to you guys.
That would be a very good practice for me.
Have you ever had a pet, Alton?
Other than fish.
Fish.
Okay. Okay. Should I say it? That explains something. Anyway.
Yeah.
Um, would you consider going to a petting whatever? Because I have a story going that touching people that you don't typically touch is really like not all that easy. But I can at least imagine that if you were to touch a cat or a dog or like something, it's maybe like less intimidating because it feels like there's less complexity on the other side of that. And so there's less of like, oh my goodness, what is this person thinking, right? None of that is happening. It's just like if the cat or dog doesn't like it, they will just walk away. And if they like it, they'll let me pet it. And that's it.
Yeah, I think a lot of my friends know me as fairly touchy once we're like past a certain threshold of connection.
Courtney, get them all to set 5-minute timers. Every 5 minutes during the day, they have to touch somebody.
Yeah,
Every 5 minutes during the
I
day.
love it. Yeah.
He's like, put your hand on the shoulder, quick. Again, not when you're busy at your computer doing something. But if you're not task oriented, yes, granted, given your reaction, every 15 minutes, you have to touch somebody. You can just go up and do this.
Sounds sweet.
Yeah.
And at least I would like say shoulder is a good part. It's not as
Sexy.
yeah, I don't know. Like it's just like if I try to think what other part would I feel is less weird or less, I can't immediately think of anything.
What about the low back yoga?
Depending on who it is, but like I think a stranger, like if anyone came up to me.
So shut up, Jochen. Shut up. Okay. Everybody who's doing this exercise, is there any place we're going to be touching each other every 15 minutes for 5 or 6 seconds? Find out whatever you want to do. Is there any place that you do not want to be touched? If there is, put these yellow sticky tabs on them. That will have everybody know not to touch the yellow sticky tabs.
Mhm.
And if they're not yellow
Oh, I
sticky
have-
tabs, have fun.
Oh,
You can always buy them in the shape of an avocado.
Yeah.
well, Courtney's got these in her pocket. So we'll see.
There you go. She's got a pussy in her
We'll see it.
pocket.
I guess.
I knew he was gonna say it. I knew.
You can, so Courtney, before you do, if you got time, get some duct tape and just put duct tape over the things that they don't want touched for a 2-hour exercise. It will lighten the mood. And people will say, you didn't have duct tape over that part. We all agreed that we were going to duct tape the things we didn't want touched.
Mm.
And if you have to wear a ski mask because you don't want your head, and you don't want to put duct tape on your head, well, that's what you got to do. Yeah, wander around in a ski mask all day.
Mhm.
You just watch the cute little bathing suits that people are going to make. Or not. And then make sure you have a debriefing afterwards. What were this? Did you notice that you were only going for the ultra safe places? Did you notice that with the cute little ones that you went for the unsafe places? What did you notice about where you were touching? More importantly, where did you notice that you were being touched?
Mhm.
What does that mean to you? You're the only person in the room that got nothing but ass touches. Oh, Brian's evil self is coming out. Yeah.
Sexual desire, evil self. What are we talking about?
No, fucking with people.
Oh,
It may be sexual. I don't know.
oh.
It looks like you enjoy fucking with people more than fucking people.
I like both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better get an invitation, Norman.
For me,
Now, what about the energetics of it, Craig?
come on over.
Ooh.
Energetics about what? Be careful, Norman. Oh. Energetics about what?
Touching.
What about it?
Are they ready to explore it?
Alton, when told that the exercise was touching once every 5 minutes, about had a heart attack. And you're asking if he's ready to mess with energetics? No, he's not. But you don't have to worry because he probably can't perceive them.
I don't think that's true.
Yeah. Make sure you look at the floor and talk in a Soto voice when you say that. Don't stand up for him.
I have it that a lot of these gestures that you're saying are like challenges to be pushed back against, and I'm appreciative of the hyperbolic frames that you're offering.
Gee, you're revealing my secrets to Facebook? Oh my God. People are not going to take my hyperbole seriously anymore? Alton.
Yeah, that's fine.
If you take my hyperbole seriously, then you're in for a very interesting ride.
Yeah, starting to compose the message to the house around touch practice for things today and for ongoing this week. And those are great debrief questions.
And
Do we
remember,
have those written down?
I took a screenshot and I put
Awesome.
them.
Thank you.
remember firm time boundaries.
Okay.
No matter what anybody wants, the exercises start here and they end here. The most important thing you can do with this crowd is hold the time boundaries.
Hmm. I'm getting hungry. How much longer do we have here?
Oh, for God's sakes, you can't possibly go an hour without eating food.
It's
Run downstairs, grab a sandwich, come back,
I'll be back.
or sit there and be distracted. Whose clothes are you wearing?
These are mine.
Oh, what fun is
unfortunately one of the only
that?
sets you have left, or
Hmm?
unfortunately one of the only sets that you have.
Yeah, the only. Yeah.
Is there any dojo practice that she could take on for the context of, I don't know if you want to talk about what happened last
Sure.
night?
Yeah.
Yeah, she has, to me, she has two choices. Either handle it like a brain dead adult and go out and buy new clothes, or she can say, hey guys, I got no clothes. I got plenty of clothes at home. I'm really not interested in spending a lot of money on clothes, but that would mean that I need to borrow some clothes. What you got for me?
I mean, do you mean guys? Because that's who's in this house. So a lot of guys.
Oh
Gee,
no.
women in guys' clothes. Oh, terrible.
Terrible.
Terrible. Oh, yeah.
I'm saying that's a great
Wandering
idea.
around in boxers and white t-shirts. Oh, the horror. The horror of it.
Huh.
Hi, Norman. How you doing? Welcome back.
I have arrived.
No, you haven't arrived.
Arrive, Norman.
Can't just command me to do that.
Ooh, there he is. Yes, I can. You don't have to pay attention. She really isn't as beautiful as you are. Sorry. Don't tell her.
That face. Wow. Thoroughly delighted.
Brian, I feel like
Like
you've grown on me.
Yeah. In what way?
a fungus.
Yeah.
Why don't you try being more truthful, Norman?
I think at first you annoyed me.
Mm.
No. I don't give a shit about what happened last week or last year. What's the realness of your experience and meaning making with Brian?
You're finally more human.
Mm.
And do you like that? Are you intrigued? Are you disappointed? What's happening inside Norman being faced with this meaning making of Brian?
I feel more open to you, more receptive to you. And I even am delighted when I am surprised that I learn from you.
You're open and receptive. You're delighted. What does that mean? What are you going to do?
Surprise you. That's what he's going to do.
It makes me want to share more spaces with you where you're getting domed.
Mm. I like that. Yeah.
I learned a lot from you, Lahaya. That was beautiful.
I intend
Did he
to.
just do a hair wave?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
What the fuck?
It's
I
it's giving Galinda
Galinda. Oh.
don't know that reference. What's Galinda?
from Wicked.
Oh. I intend to explore more sacred sexuality and subdom activity. I think that could be very good for my.
You're not just going to practice regular old sexuality? It has to be sacred? Really? How
I've done a lot of
boring.
regular old sexuality.
Oh,
I
what's the difference in your world?
I don't know.
One you do with a cross. The other one you do with your dick.
Yeah.
I'm burning in hell.
Oh, I don't have a complete context for it, but my understanding is there is an energy of more masculine. There's a dynamic between masculine and feminine energy that I don't think I yet fully embody sexually, and I would like to understand that better. I think I try to embody a more masculine, try to, and so uh, it's good at a more surface level, but I've also had experiences where it's very deeply beautiful on a spiritual level, and I've only kind of stumbled into that, and I'd be more interested in learning how to do that
Do
consistently.
you want an old man's opinion?
Fuck yeah.
Follow the lead of your partner. Don't try to do anything. Just follow the lead. If they want to be a submissive, be the top. If they want to be the top, be submissive. If they want to be masculine, be feminine. If they want to be feminine, be masculine. Don't try to do it here. It's faster and a lot juicier if you don't write graphs about it, if you don't do causal analysis.
Hmm.
And
Well,
I think,
when I stumble into it, it's just a meditative exercise. I'm not in my head.
then you're doing it wrong.
I'm doing it wrong. Can you do it wrong?
If you're looking for a way out of 1.0, yes.
If I'm not thinking about it and I'm fully present in the moment and having sex and it is extremely pleasurable, unifying experience, I guess I'm
How is
not
that meditative?
meditative as in the ego parts of me, the thought parts of me, I allow to just dissipate. And there's just the thing that's happening. And there ends up being like
I would bring the crowd with. See what happens.
bring the crowd with.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
it's a lot. It's you get to the fullness of it a lot quicker if you can hear all those parts saying, "You shouldn't be doing this. No, you should be doing this. Mama's going to kill me. God's going to punish me." And you're like, "I don't really care." Because you're standing in ownership of the entirety of you as much as you can, rather than putting yourself on a set of rails about how you should be doing this.
Okay. I don't know that I experienced something entirely different than that.
Okay.
I think it's just all the parts and voices of me are kind of just there in this mandala.
Good.
Everything's there. So it's not trying to get away
I'll ask
from
Norman. I'll say, "Norman, how present was he?" And Norman will say, 64%, maybe. It's not what you think. If you really, really want to, if you really want to take a big bite, it's their opinion that matters. What you think about it is irrelevant.
You mean my partners?
Yeah. Or partners, or I don't know what you're doing, or your animatronic, I don't know, whatever it is.
Yeah. Small animals. Yeah. Whatever I'm
Large
into.
animals.
Yeah. Exactly. My Bible. Thank you. Yeah. Slamming my dick consistently inside the Bible. Yeah. Whatever gets me off.
Whatever gets Norman off.
What does it for you, Norman?
Recently, intensity,
Intensity of what?
force,
Penetrative force?
but with the intention of giving pleasure rather than taking.
Giving versus taking pleasure.
Because there can be a mode where like the top is doing it for their pleasure, but it's not about my pleasure.
Oops. It's mom. Oops.
Talking about dicks right now. Gosh.
So in a sub-dom relationship, what does your pleasure matter?
I'm actually not often sub in dynamics with tops. I'm usually more of a power bottom. So like I like being director of the experience.
Hmm.
So I end up playing with a lot of tops that like enjoy the like serving.
Okay. Hmm.
He likes topping, but he likes it to look like he's the
Yes.
bottom.
I'm topping from the bottom. Exactly.
Yep. Mhm.
Is that a definition of power bottom?
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
No?
There's different ways of topping from the bottom. You can be power or you can be suggesting,
Yeah, you can be like a brat. You
indicating.
can be like brat, where
Yeah.
resisting, but like kind of waiting for them to overcome the resistance. And then there's like
Yeah.
I'm more like do it like this.
And is that
And
the
he
only way?
speaks that fast too.
Let's get over it. Come on, I got shit to do. I
Rotation.
got on hang.
Norman, are you gonna bring your bottom up here in the next few days?
That is a tall order. Would that be fun? If there's housing at Evergreen, then I could make it. I've been having a hard time finding housing in the Bay Area to make a trip up.
Well, I encourage you to reach out to Josh because I would love to spend time with you.
Offer him to share the bed with you, Courtney.
Well, there's already two of us in the bed. It would be very
Oh,
squishy.
okay. Depends who the two
Otherwise,
are.
it would be of course.
We'll just get a long two-way.
You can have my bed, Norman, because I won't be here.
How
I'm
long
leaving tomorrow.
How
I'm
long are
leaving
you
tomorrow.
for?
A couple months. I'll be back in
Oh, I see.
February, March. I'll miss you, but I'll
Come
visit
on up.
everywhere.
Very possible now.
Now that I'm gone, yeah. It's very inviting. Create a bed.
Thank God he's not here.
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday,
Mm.
it would be worth being here for.
My long distance boyfriend is in town until the 23rd. So I'm like trying to spend time with him while he's still here. So I'm like
Trying.
Bring
I'm
him up.
trying.
Or
No, hang on. He's trying to spend time with him. Okay. Okay. So just be clear. This is a boyfriend in terms of some other thing. Okay.
So he's your you said long distance or long term? Long term?
distance.
Long distance. Okay. Trying
Why
to.
are you holding on to him, Norman? Yeah, that.
Some
He's watching this live stream. Why are you holding on to him?
because I get some needs met.
Oh. What are they?
Intimacy.
No. Not a chance. Not a chance. If you were getting your intimate needs met, you would not be trying to spend time with him.
I have some of my intimacy needs met. Not all.
Hmm.
You're not gonna, yeah.
It works best when I have more partners.
Yeah, that's it works. Yeah, that's what all racists say. Convenient. It's really convenient because if you have so many partners, you can't possibly focus on going really deep. Because that takes time, it takes commitment, it takes a certain level of everydayness. You're just ships passing in the night. That's fine.
I think by the distance, we enjoy it for what it is. Neither of us
No,
each
you
other
enjoy it for what you're making it.
true.
It's not what it is. Not there's no relationship that is. It's what you make of it. And you're using the distance and the infrequency of how you're together to sculpt something that is acceptable for both of you. That's fine.
Exactly.
If we forced you to choose somebody and to live in a apartment with them for a month, you'd probably kill yourself or them or both. Because there's a level of intimacy that you don't want to go to.
I don't think
Norman,
on my end that is lacking in the desire to go into more intimacy.
One more time.
I don't think there's a lack of desire on my end to get deeper. There's a wall I cannot get past on his end. There seems to be a ceiling or a limit to how much he's able to reciprocate.
Wow, it's how convenient that you pick them that way. That your patterns pick those ones who can't possibly meet you where you want to be met. Oh, I try, I want so much. And yet somehow, time and time and time again, I keep picking the ones that have these insurmountable walls that I can't possibly figure out how to get through or around or under or over. Convenient for you that way.
Are you going to just say, like you did last week, just don't?
No, I'm saying go up and spend 3 days with Courtney. And have it not be about, and have it not be about the peaks and the valleys. Find the other intimacies. Now, you might have a hard time because she's not very good at it either. No.
Wonderful pairing.
Where are you off to, Brian?
My family lives in Austin. I'll spend like a month in Austin with them, and then I'm going to go to Guatemala
Why?
because I'd like to go to Lake Atitlan and dance with a bunch of sexy people and explore embodied consciousness.
Oh,
And
God. Have fun.
well,
Yep.
intend on having fun. I think it's
Yeah,
good.
you and Norman. Exploring the known. Yep.
Well, I just explained that I don't think I know it. I'd like to explore more. What's
So
and
remember
yet
what
you're
I said?
leaving. And yet you're
If you want to stay where you are, keep
Right.
listening to your rationales.
okay?
Keep listening to your meaning makings
Okay.
because it's going to have you do the same freaking patterns. I don't care if you're sitting around with naked topless giraffes, whatever it is.
You know my
If
king.
you're going to be doing the same thing.
Hmm.
You can't see outside your box. That's why you got to rely on other people.
When I go to places like this, there are people there. Wouldn't I interact with them? No?
You're going to do what Norman's doing.
What is it?
Out of all, so you're like,
For the,
this is the classic stereotype, right? You get
Yeah.
out of the abusive relationship, finally, okay? You go into a bar, there are 99 non-abusive people there, and there's one abusive asshole. Guess which one you're going to gravitate towards? In a brand new bar, you're going to be nervous. Your coping skills are going to come up. Your patterns are going to come up, and they're going to go, oh, we know what that one does. Norman goes into places and he picks the ones that are going to refuse to go where he wants to go. Out of
Yes.
all of these people here, now, Courtney could say, why don't you try that one over there? And he's like, well, he's not wearing glasses. I only like guys that wear glasses. And Courtney's like, what the hell are you talking about? And he's picking something because to focus on that's not going to reveal what he really is afraid of.
Okay,
So
well,
you're
great.
still
What's the
saying I'm
alternative?
scared of intimacy?
I don't. I think it's not intimacy in a big, broad, general place. For for you, Norman, being campy and dressing up and whatever, is just who you are. It's for Alton to do that would be incredibly intimate. So it's not intimacy in its broad category. There's a certain specific thing. Now, if you're into campy, it's usually the intimacy of the mundane.
I had this with my ex, and I really enjoyed that mundane element. And yet there's the same pattern of, oh no, there's these insurmountable things. And so I'm like trying to, how do I exit the pattern altogether? How do I not?
You can't.
Then what?
You have to choose differently. So if you're buying into a pattern, it's because your psychology is trying to keep you safe. Because the anti-pattern is the thing that's going to hurt you. It's going to open you up. It's going to hurt you. It's going to show you some stuff that if you keep picking these walled off guys, you don't have to see that. You don't have to experience it.
I think my ex helped me finally get that experience of breaking and experiencing that possibility at the same time. And so now I'm like, ooh, I want this other thing that exists beyond.
Yeah, but your psychology has built the walls up again. And it's like, okay, we got to make sure he never does that again. I don't know.
You can't do it alone, Norman.
That's
Okay,
why
yeah. Well, so Corey, what's the alternative concretely? I don't understand what you're specifically suggesting.
To who? To what?
To Brian, to Norman, to all of us, you're saying that if you listen to your psychology, then you'll keep getting the same results. So I'm like,
Yeah,
well,
listen to
what's the alternative?
listen to your people. Listen to the people around you. This is really old David Davis stuff. Okay, really old. He says, I would go to my friends and ask them who I should date rather than going with who I think I should date. And most people did not want to hear that because, we all know ourselves really well and we want to do what we want to do.
Okay.
Pay attention to the universe cards.
That would be a fun exercise. Like a circle.
Right.
So, Courtney, if you're going to try this, it's not enough to point them at their 180. You have to point at what the goodies are. If you can't point to what the theoretical goodies are, don't do it. You have to give them something to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
It's not enough to go up to Alton and put your hand on his shoulder 14 times in a day. It's like, okay, can you feel your knees? You're trying to get him to be not only aware, great, the first 3 or 4 times, fine. But after that, it's like, okay, what's this opening up the possibilities for? It's great to bring the duct tape because everybody's going to have fun putting, duct tape wherever they want to go. That's to get them to do the exercise. That's making the exercise sexy and fun and silly and, dangerous. Yeah.
Right, so how do I bad signal for inviting in this beautiful mundaneness?
Go be mundane someplace.
Like just go live.
I would highly encourage you to go someplace where you are absolutely sure that your crazy character would be greatly received and greatly valued, and see if you can find the beauty in not doing it, in being there with your heart rather
Norman,
than your campiness. Slow down, Courtney.
I got excited thinking about one of the first exercises that Craig gave me outside of dojo. And you and I are quite similar in the way that we're extroverted, beautiful, and we like to be flashy, right? I like to dance. I love a dance club. Cray knows that. And he told me to get myself gussied up, as beautiful as I can make myself and feel. Walk into my favorite club with my favorite DJ and park my ass on a seat. Don't touch alcohol and don't move. Don't talk to anyone. I sat there for 2 hours. I thought my head was going to explode. Until it didn't. And then a quiet came and I just walked out of the club. But the high went away. And it's been very helpful.
I hope, Norman, that you get to have the sense of Wyoming way out in the middle of nowhere in very early summer with not a man-made sound around you. And the space and the quiet and the breeze. There's nobody there to see you perform. There's no reason to perform. For a lot of people, that's a homecoming.
I feel relaxed just like imagining that.
If you really want to do something crazy, in June, get a bunch of people, rent a camper. What are we doing? We're going to Wyoming. What's in Wyoming? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. What are we going to do there? Nothing. We're going to want to do things. Oh, yeah, we are.
In this week's episode of Nothing with Norman, once again, nothing happened.
No, Norman. There's no way that nothing is going to happen if you're conscious.
Greg, can you relate this to grit?
I love him.
Grit. Everybody, except with the exception of Jochen, everybody's got something in front of them that their primal character is feeling grit. It's like sand in your crotch. You know, it's like, you know, in my world, Brian's
searching for the sand right now.
Yeah. In my world, Brian's used to being very smooth. And the whole idea about, oh, I'm going to go down and party hardy in Mexico. I'm going to be like the gorgeous white second coming of Christ. And I'm going to benefit the economy and I'm going to have a good time. We're going to party. And it's just like, yeah, and you're going to get absolutely nothing done and you're going to have a great time. Congratulations.
When you
And you'll
say
come back and you'll have some
absolutely
great stories. I don't think so. He's
What do you
going to go
mean?
there.
what do you
It's
mean
like
by-
Norman going into a bar, one of his normal bars. If he goes there, I don't know, but it's
Yeah,
Brian's
you're saying
going to
it's
go
just
to
more
a
of the
new
same.
place. Yeah, this is going to be more of the same. He might have sex with a different kind of animal. He might eat some different kinds of animals. He might, learn to do the tutti frutti. I don't know. But in essence, no, it's just going to be Brian doing Brian. There's nobody there that's going to put his nuts in the fire.
I've been going to ecstatic dance for years, but then
Yep.
a month ago after I went, after a couple of sessions, I recognized that I was just approaching people in a very different way because of some of the things we've talked about here. And so it's the same environment, but then a very different approach to it. So I'm going down there, and yes, maybe it sounds similar to what I've already done, but there's a continuing unfolding of myself that I'm experiencing. regardless of
Why
the
do you
situation.
want? It's
even if
the
the same
unfolding
experience.
of the same character. Why do you care? Why do you care that Brian 1.0 gets a little bit more something, something, something? Aren't you bored with this character? You've been doing this character for 30 freaking years.
46.
46 years you've been doing this character. Great. You're going to go down and get 2 new pieces of rice. Yay!
Oh,
Ugh. So, Brian, imagine that you convinced Justin.
Oh, Justin's here.
Imagine that you convinced Justin to host you for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And you will do, the only thing that you're going to bring with you is your avocado. The only thing, you are going to be her sub for 2.5 days. And the only thing you're bringing is an avocado. No agreements, no boundaries, only the avocado. Think of how different you're going to be Monday morning. You can be a bratty sub. You can be anything you want. But you got to follow the rules. You got to do what the top tells you to do. She tells you to eat out of a dog dish, you eat out of a dog dish. Tells you to crap on the floor, you crap on the floor. She tells you to stand on the balcony stark naked and jerk off on the people underneath you. That's what you do.
I thought there was like no arrestable. All right, well, you guys have different rules.
No, there is nothing. He gets to say avocado. Sound a little bit different than 2 months in Mexico, Brian?
It does.
You can't think of things like this because you're in your 1.0 box. Now, so just to make it even weirder, you'd get more with Norman.
Mm.
You do the exact same exercise with Norman, you're going to come out very different. You want to really get screwed up? Have them both at the same time. Norman, Justin, I've arranged a suite for us at the Beverly Hilton or whatever it is. I've got this all covered. I will be your bottom for 2.5 days, and the only thing I'm bringing with me is my avocado. You two have at it. Now, when you're sitting down with your family and doing the good son thing, you try to keep those thoughts out of your head because it'll mess up your family. I could be. Yeah. You have avocado. You have it. They've agreed to it. Yeah, they might take your avocado and throw it out the world, cut your throat, and you die. I don't think so. But you could do this. You're all adults. No matter what kind of weird, kinky stuff that Norman comes up with, that Justin's yawning at, okay? You can always say, avocado, I can't do that. But you get to talk about it. You get to dance it. You get to sit there to have these 2 people looking at you and saying, you're willing to be our toy for 2.5 days? You're like, yeah, we're only getting room service. Unless you guys want something else.
So I'm allowing someone else to entirely control me for 2 days.
So just to be clear, you goddamn newbie, you're always at choice. You're always at choice. They can't make you do anything.
Mm-hmm.
You have avocado.
Right.
It's not the fantasies. Oh, they're going to make me drink out of a dog dish. No, they're going to say drink out of a dog dish, and you get to decide.
Okay.
And of course, you show up at Friday at 6 p.m. Norman and Justin are there at 7 o'clock saying, well, that was quick. He didn't want to drink out of the dog dish. I cleaned it and everything. He called avocado and he's gone. But hey, look, we got the place to ourselves for 2 days. It's paid for. Brock, 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 Brock. I hear you squawking all the way back to Austin. Daddy, Mommy, there are weird people in the world. Save me.
Okay.
Well, there was a little bit more aftercare and like caring.
Jesus.
I know that you're being hyperbolic, but I don't want people to, I think
Alton, no.
I've had to deal with a lot of, okay, flavor is different. Norman, I got it.
Remember, we're using a feather on you. I don't think Brian needs a feather.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I want to be responsible for the people who have been sharing.
You can't be.
This is the beast thing. Stop caring about them.
No.
Adults.
Don't stop caring. Let them be adults.
Here it is.
Let them be big. Let them own their own path. There's nothing stopping you from parking yourself in the lobby, waiting for Brian to come running out, saying, over here, Brian, I'm here for you. I've been waiting. Quick, we'll get in the car. Quick, I'll drive you to Austin. Your parents will take care of you. You can do that.
Yeah, well, my concern is that I know that you're speaking hyperbolic language, but people won't even pick up this stuff to begin with, where it's so strong that they'll probably, like, I wouldn't bet on Brian doing this currently with Norman and Justin. I know, again, it's illustrative.
Did you hear that, Brian?
Yep.
Well, the gauntlet's been thrown, huh?
It's not, and again, Brian, the only way you're going to get better at this is if you fuck up. If you keep doing it right, it's the same thing. You're not learning anything new. You have to go there, and Norman's going to say, I want to do this with you. And you're going to be like, avocado. And he's going to be like, seriously? That's an avocado? 3 days later, you're going to go, oh my God. I let my history. And you'll learn. You're not trying to get this right. You're trying to push the edges knowing that you're going to mess up. And
I don't think Brian's present to the 3 speed bumps thing, or even people who are watching are present to a lot of this stuff. I think it's actually important for people to get present to, otherwise they're not actually going to do it. And part of being a responsible communicator is like actually getting people to do the thing.
No. If any of you are listening and this looks like an incredibly huge high jump, okay, or a jump off a 30-meter board, find me on Facebook, ask me some questions. I'd be happy to answer it. Alton's talking about what an experienced person would do with this. Now, looking at these 3 people, it might become very intense. I agree. Right? I don't think anybody's going to die. I don't think anybody's going to be irreparably hurt. They're all going into it like most adolescents. They're going to go, oh, it's going to be 2.5 days of wild and crazy, kinky, winky stuff. And it's going to be like, no, probably not. The biggest moment you're probably going to come is like, Brian, come and watch the Bells of St. Mary with us. And Norman and Jasper will be going, oh my God, this is such a wonderful show. Oh, it's so heartfelt. And Brian's head is exploding at the absolute horror of this romantic comedy musical. And Norman and Jasper are getting up and saying, let's dance along. Brian, let's dance. And that's when Ryan goes, I'm out of here. This is it. I can take the sex with the donkey. I am not singing along with musicals at all. Never. This is for Norman, for his showgirl. There's a bit of like acting and drama and stuff. What's going to freak him out is that it's 2.5 days. He can't be on stage for 2.5 days. Norman's going to have to shit sooner or later. Okay. He's going to have to take a shower. He's going to have to brush his teeth. And your guys are, I believe that towards Saturday, you guys are going to learn or understand that the edges of this is not in the kinky stuff. It's in the soft stuff. It's in the soft stuff. It's in the vulnerable stuff. It's in the things that you're not scared to tell people because of how bad it is, but because of how bad it feels. I've been telling people to go to college level acting classes for 15 years, right? One person has done it. And they are reaping a whirlwind of benefits. They're thinking about how to set up a school that applies acting techniques, acting science to transformational work, which would make it probably 8 or 9 times faster, 8 or 9 times easier.
What benefits do you see them reaping?
It's most of the people who are in transformational work are not interested in doing things that their character doesn't want them to do in a deep way. In acting class, it's like, get your ass up there. I don't want to kiss him. Look, you're going to have to learn to kiss guys or gals or whatever. This is acting. This is part of what we do. This is an 1850s, Victorian England. Yes, you're not emotional. Learn to be emotional. I don't want to be soft. I don't know how to be soft. You better practice. And because you're putting money on the line or whatever the skin is for you, and it's acting, you're in a temple, for God's sakes. Your brain doesn't know any difference. You can tell your brain that it's just acting. I don't really care for this same-sex person I'm kissing. Your brain does not care. You're like, you're going to hell. And you have to, you can't, if you kiss them thinking you're going to hell, the director's going to be like, cut, do it over again. Do it like you mean it.
So it sounds like you've
the point.
Well, you've given a framework. Sorry, you're making the point. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
The framework that you gave of coming together and having someone have entire control of you. You have the avocado in some space away from, you gave the example like a hotel. So I think there's certain characteristics that you're laying out, which is to get away from my normal life or from all of our normal life for an extended period of time and let someone else take control of you. So that's like the framework.
Let someone else lead.
Okay. Right. Okay. Because you have avocado.
Yes.
I have avocado. So
you're always at choice.
Yeah.
Always.
Okay. So, but that can happen anywhere. I just need to get out of the place I am.
Careful.
Careful.
Why would you have to go anywhere?
Right.
Would it be more dangerous to do it with complete strangers or people that you have a connection with? Would it be more dangerous to do it with strangers or people you're going to see every day at work? Which do you think is going to give you the most grit? You're muted.
You cut out. So you're saying that either do it with complete strangers or someone It
Someone
kind
that
of
you're going to see at work tomorrow and every 5 days for the rest of your life. What are you going to do then? What are you going to do if Justin says, I want you to dom me now? Yep.
Yep. Evergreen.
Yep.
But, okay, so you gave a bunch of examples. I actually couldn't tell which way you're pointing. If you were using them as
Look at Justin.
Okay.
She's going to lead you from
Right.
Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock until Monday morning at 7. You have an avocado that you can use multiple times. Your commitment is that neither one of you is going to leave the rented room for that whole time.
It's worthy.
You can
Right.
do the same exact exercise with Alton. You'll spend a lot of time doing Excel spreadsheets, I think.
Craig, in this context, are you referring to me as like a stranger to Brian? Because I'm not someone he sees every day at work. Okay. We have met. Hey, Brian. I was checking on which way. Because, yeah, for me, obviously, the higher vulnerability is going to be not with a complete stranger. That's easy. I did theater in college. I can stand up in front of a crowd of people and do absurd, ridiculous things and not really feel absurd and ridiculous at all. Having a conversation with someone who I actually know is a different ballgame. So
that's why it's 2.5 days.
Yeah.
It's the cost of a hotel room. It's the cost of room service or Grubhub or wherever it is. That's it.
Okay.
But now you have to sell it. You guys are free. You have disposable income. You don't have families. You don't have children. You guys can do anything. You guys can go off into little places and practice the most crazy things that you've ever thought of. You'll find out that all of those pony rides, while amusing in their own right, are going to be very different. Justin laying down and putting her head on your chest and falling asleep is probably going to be more intimate than what she does with her double-headed dildo. All right? And you're going to find yourself, hopefully, you're going to do the pony rides, and then you're going to find this other stuff underneath, and you're going to go, what the hell am I doing pony rides for? This is actually nutritious. This is actually helping me become a better human. Not to be an object of entertainment. Justin might finally be able to put down the actress. Maybe. Doubtful, but oof. Well, I think you got your money's worth tonight, Alton. Good Lord.
Craig, how can we have this all be bet onable? Like, would you bet that Brian is gonna do this if we fast forward like a month from now? I want to be able to like bet with high confidence that friends will actually do this based off of your enrollment.
Why don't you model it and report back about how amazing it is?
Yeah, but that's a good example. Yeah. So like what I bet on
Yeah, but
myself.
what else is there? Give me another one, goddamn. Don't.
No,
Have you
I'm saying
done?
that I think that bolsters the effect. I think that would be in service that it would be more. I would have more high confidence that it would actually happen.
For me, I'm like looking at Brian, I'm looking at Justin, I'm looking at Norman, I'm looking at Courtney, and I'm like, they've all heard this. Courtney's heard this 2 or 3 times. And they're beginning to say, I could do this. They're looking at it and they're saying, this is possible. You have to hear it 2 or 3 times. And then you have to look at it and you have to say, wait a minute. And you dial up the Hollywood Boulevard and it's like $500 a night. And it's like, okay, Grubhub, that's another $400 a night. That's $1,000. That's $3,000 for a weekend. And it's like, and they look at their Joe Dispenza bill, $86,000 for 2023. And they're like, this seems like a reasonable bet to me. I am going to place this bet. Because this is not about you sitting there and sucking at the tit of somebody with a great deal of wisdom. This is about you exploring who you are in relationship to other people, who you are in relationship to yourself. But being the generation that you are, you'd much rather fork out $83,000 and go spend, 5 days with Joe Dispenza and 80,000 other people.
So will you need to go to a hotel or a suite and not just be at someone's house? Like what's the function of
It doesn't matter. Some place where I wouldn't do it at Evergreen. You need to be in a temple situation. Okay. Airbnb, a hotel. I mean, I just what's the easiest thing to do? And granted, Justin has a little bit of, there has to be a little bit of flash to it, okay? And you can't go to the no Econo Lodge.
What'd you say, Courtney?
And she has her sensitivities to tend to.
True.
What sensitivities do you have?
So many, Cray. Alton.
So many.
I was wondering, have you ever taken Cray up on any of his suggestions like this over the years?
I was a recipient to several of them, and we did this a lot at Skyway in Puerto Rico. The first night I met Josh, he walked in the room, and I was like tied to the bed doing Sophia Zeng doing all sorts of things, and that was our in-person introduction.
And have you found them to be fruitful and transformative?
Yes, there's a lot of nuancing from the person who is facilitating or the dom, but it is very, very handleable, and it's good for that person to have like a wing person to support them through it. So there's like a lot more, I guess, like overhead that goes into it that I'm like, I don't want Cray to just like give people this idea that it's feels a little flimsy or like a little. But yes,
I mean, so Justin, there was another totally disassociated people who got together for 3 months in Wisconsin, and they did this exercise for 3 months. 3 months.
Josh and I did it for 5.
Yeah, there you go. So
We're not
that I
attracted
don't
to each
remember
other.
them doing it shows how far they took it. Okay?
Did you decide in advance to do it for 5, Courtney, or did that just kind of happen? Okay.
No, I signed up for 4 weeks. We just happened to, it was interesting
We
enough.
happened to.
but I also don't want to
Wait,
mix terms. There's a specific container around like the final say explicitly, which is like you have your own auto. It seemed like there's other like relational containers that have also grown from them, but those are still distinct in my world.
Yep. Guys, you don't have to do the monoculture that you were given. You can take new ground. You can change the fucking world. Yeah, at least you can change your own life. All of these straitjackets that you have yourself in, a weekend, $3,000 a weekend with 2 other people. I wouldn't do 4 maybe, but the reason that 3 is really good is that you don't get us versus them. If there's 4 or more, you tend to go into teams.
Do you really think a weekend is enough to like completely release someone from straitjackets?
No, but hopefully, if you have a good group. Now, remember, if Brian has bought Norman and Justin, and he's the one footing the bill, and it's not like he's sitting there going. He's a living, breathing adult with a functional mind. He's not just sitting around waiting to be puppeted. You guys have to interact. You guys have to be real live people. Justin, you have to be a real live human being with all of your sensitivities. And if they don't pay attention to them, you hit them with a hammer.
I could enjoy that.
Yeah.
Norman, where do you live?
I'm in LA.
Okay.
Where are you?
Well, currently I'm in Texas, but living in Chicago, but I'm from Southern California, so move
Quite
around a lot.
distance for all 3 of us.
Yeah, that just.
Bye, everyone. It was good to be with you.
Hey, Courtney.
Pay attention to that, Justin. Yours, not some actresses. But that growl, that is yours. Yeah. And stop being shy about it. Mexico's looking really great, huh, Brian?
Guatemala.
Guatemala. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
I think we can put this in between. Go to Austin, go do this thing, then go to Guatemala. It's perfect.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah.
Right. I know we're hitting time, but I'm wanting to know if there's any last things you'd have to say about why it's important that you do it in a temple environment versus like a specific time-bound container within Evergreen or even like off the property of Evergreen.
Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to create your own little cosmos. You want to be the only things that are real. You don't want to hear, Courtney down the hall doing her thing or being worried about what Jeffrey's going to hear or, you want to be that, it's like, oh, yes, we have the wait staff is delivering our lunch. You're in your own little island. You're in your own little universe. You have the freedom. Whatever happens, 2.5 days are going to go and it will be history. No matter what happens. So this is your opportunity. And you're all going to be nervous. You're all going to be like, ah. You can even arrive with your list. These are the things I've always wanted a woman to do. These are the things I've always wanted a Norman to do. These are the things I've always wanted Brian to do. And these are the things I don't want. This is the most fun you can have is if your partners know all kinds of things about you.
Yeah.
If you have
like
a fruit
sense of like
fetish,
questionnaire that I think you had from Final Say to like fill out this thing beforehand.
yeah.
I mean, I'm just wary about just really under-equipping people because I think they do get a lot more juice from it when they fill out those
The first time out, you want them to go, unless they're like complete newbies. Neither of these 3 people look like complete newbies. Jochen, maybe. And it's like, go out, have fun. You're going to fall down. You're going to make stupid mistakes. You're going to fart when you really didn't want to fart. she's going to say, wipe my ass. And you're going to be like, oh my God, I'm getting excited about this. You know, all kinds of crazy things are going to happen. That's okay. It's part of being human. You know, you're going to be judgmental of each other. Yeah, great. Here we go. You want me to do what with the spoon?
Alton, you saying you have specific forms for these kind of exercises?
Yeah, I think we may have got them from Cray originally.
Yeah. Well, then maybe if you're concerned that anyone listening might be under-equipped, you can have an offer to reach out for those forms.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah.
I am going
Any
on
other-
vacation from Tuesday to the 2nd. So if you do it then and you're expecting coaching and a flare, you're up a crick.
Thanks, Cray.
But Justin, you can create small examples of this. You can do it on Zoom.
Yeah. I'm feeling like a hunger and an excitement to like take momentum forward. I don't like feeling kind of stuck in the energy of an invitation. I'm thinking how
I don't know whoever it is that she's going to be calling in 5 minutes, but have a good time. Anything else, sir? You okay, Jochen?
I'm good.
Any tips for doing
There
it
you go.
online? I haven't done much online.
Yep.
You said nope. Okay.
You can. Of course you can. Of course you can. She can be sitting there and saying, Craig, put your finger on your forehead. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, I was saying if there's any tips that you have or like forms that I haven't done them online much.
If I was doing it online, I would encourage people just to do it verbally. Just to say, would you tell me about your mother? Would you tell me about your this? Would you tell me about this? What is something you don't want me to know about you? You know, stick to the verbal. Otherwise, it gets a lot. It's like watching a porn video or something.
Yeah.
Stick to the verbal.
Thanks. Okay.
Makes sense. I like that.
Great work, man. Have some beautiful Christmas holidays and New Year's, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you, Craig. Thank
Or
you
no,
all
to
for
see you
having me.
Monday.
My pleasure.